Folks, Trulieve has just reported their third quarter earnings results. And while the stock's down 8% at the end of today, that's not all that matters. It's also election day. And at the time of recording this, we've got the results for Amendment 3. And the bad news for Trulieve shareholders is that today was not a good day. Amendment 3 failed to pass in the state of Florida, meaning that all that $144 million that Trulieve spent on Amendment 3 basically went up in smoke. But for now, let's start by getting into those third quarter results. Okay, so Trulieve in the third quarter posted top-line revenue of US $284 million, a 3% bump on a year-over-year basis, but a 6% decline on a quarterly basis. The number also failed to hit analyst estimates, which sat at $289 million. In other words, a bit of a disappointment all around. Gross profits did better in terms of analyst estimates, coming in at $173 million versus estimates of $163, while gross margins came in at 61% versus estimates of 56%. Margins improved by 1% sequentially and at 9% year over year. It should also be stated here that operating expenses amounted to $173 million, accounting for 61% of revenue and matching gross profits and leaving nothing for the bottom line. Comparatively, operating expenses came in at 43% both sequentially and last year. Analysts had called for operating income of $29 million, but obviously that was nowhere close to happening. The net loss, meanwhile, came in at $60 million versus $12 last quarter and $25 million last year. But don't worry, the adjusted net loss, which backs out impairments, disposals, discontinued operations, and get this, campaign contributions, came in at $12 million, which is an improvement over the adjusted loss of $15 million a year ago. On a per-share basis, Trulieve lost 32 cents from continuing operations versus 12 cents in the year-ago period. On an adjusted basis, this improves to 6 cents versus 8 cents last year. Finally, adjusted EBITDA improved from $78 million last year to $96 million, although it was down from $107 million in the second quarter. This metric, however, beat analyst estimates of $87 million. Cash flow from operations, meanwhile, amounted to $30 million, while free cash flow was negative $7 million, which the company again blames campaign support on. Cash and short-term investments at the quarter ended total $319 million, which fell from $356 at the end of the second quarter. On an operational level, the third quarter saw Trulieve open 15 new dispensaries, which were spread across Florida and Pennsylvania, ending the quarter with 30% of their 215 locations based out of Florida. They also launched adult use sales at 3 locations across Ohio. Post-quarter end, 5 additional locations were opened in Florida, bringing their total dispensary count to 222 locations as of Tuesday morning. Traffic, as per the earnings call, is said to have increased by 10% year over year at those locations and 1% sequentially, while basket sizes saw a reduction of 3% and 6% respectively in the third quarter. Basket sizes declined across all markets, with seasonal pressures noted in both Arizona and Florida, which are attributed to new residents from northern states who leave Florida during hot summer months. Trulieve then went on to say they are unsure if a trend is emerging or not. Customer retention, meanwhile, was said to be 65% company-wide and 74% in medical-only markets, which was flat compared to Q2. The third quarter also saw the company double down on obtaining support for Amendment 3, which we got the results of tonight, which weren't so great, with Trulieve launching a product line to support the adult use campaign, in addition to providing $39 million in contributions to Smart and Safe Florida to support the campaign. As a side note, post-quarter end, the cannabis company funneled an additional $52 million into the campaign ahead of the election, bringing total contributions to $145 million. The investor response to the results can be said to be mixed at best. Well, on social media, people were generally quite positive. The actual investors in the company seemed to view the results differently, with equity sinking by 8% on $8.5 million in volume just on the CSE alone. Scott Grossman was happy that the company did just under $400 million in adjusted EBITDA, when this time last year they did around $317 million, and also saying it's not only about potential upside on Vote 3, but rather focusing on downside via kinetic energy, whatever that means. And Lance Finlayson says, hey, where's the growth? My old buddy Jason Spadafora referred to the situation with Amendment 3 as a prisoner's dilemma. So now that we know that Amendment 3 didn't go through, we get to see the reactions. B Funk says that now we can look forward to S3, but it's probably going to hurt if you are a shareholder of Trulieve. Whaleman says that the win here is we didn't have to wait very long for the result and congratulates Ron DeSantis. August Somberg says that Trulieve is going to feel the burn. KK Investing says to never bet on binary events, and he wonders how much Trulieve now owes in taxes that they expected not to pay. And Weed Street 420 is telling us at the deep dive feed that they are not going to be able to deduct that $145 million on their taxes. But then there's Amendment 3. If it would have been passed, it would have been a substantial boost to Trulieve. Maybe. There might have been a lot of near-term growth, presumably, but then what? Were investors going to settle for moderate 3% growth thereafter, or would it have become a scenario like legalization in Canada, where it was just a big sell the news event? Now that we know that it didn't pass, the company will have to rely on election promises at the federal level. Both candidates did suggest legalizing cannabis, but will it actually be implemented? I don't know. And whether those include recreational legalization is a whole nother discussion that we're not going to get into. But the growth will be massively subdued versus a scenario where it had passed. Well, there we have it, folks. I'll say this. If Trump ends up legalizing cannabis and you want to have names that you can ride those tailwinds with, Trulieve is unquestionably going to be a name that you're going to want to own. I don't know what the chances of that happening are. Quite frankly, everybody who talks about it online, that there's going to be regulatory changes, seems to always be wrong. But if you do want to make that bet, Trulieve's a good name to own. Otherwise, at this point, I think that we've kind of missed out, or we've passed on the easy money to be made in cannabis. And at this point, you got to be event driven, and you probably are better to stay away from these binary types of bets. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks, everyone.